Hey, what's up, guys? It's Brett here. So, today I want to talk real quick about owning your decisions. And so, what do I mean by owning your decisions? Well, for one, I mean you don't make a decision unless you can completely own it with your heart and you can be happy about that decision. So, it doesn't mean you have to love your options every time you make a decision, but it means that once you make a decision, you embrace it as your own decision because here, I'll give you an example real quick. So say you're out you're out doing running some errands and you get really hungry. And you have two options. You can either go to like a fast food place that you don't really want to go to, or you can go hungry until you get home or until you get to someplace with higher quality foods. But if you feel that you have to make the decision to go to the fast food place just because you're hungry, but you don't own it as your own decision, you say, well, I had to because it was so close. Then you just undermine your own decision making process because you made it seem like it wasn't your choice when really you could have either gone to the fast food and dealt with the consequences, or you could have waited and gone hungry and you'd probably still survive and deal with those consequences of being hungry. So when you don't own your decisions, it's usually because you're not taking responsibility and you're not acknowledging that you have a decision. And so when you actually acknowledge that you have a choice, then it's much easier to make decisions and be happy about them. So if someone asks you to do something and you don't really want to do it, but you say yes anyway because you felt pressure, then you're just caving in. You're not being true to yourself. You're just caving into someone else's pressure on you. And so you're not actually being true to yourself, and your decision in that case won't feel good. It'll feel like you betrayed yourself at some level. And in the future, you'll be more likely to make weak decisions like that. However, you can still do that thing that the person is asking you and not lose your decision making power if you wholeheartedly decide to do it. So if they ask you to do it and you maybe at first you don't want to do it, but then you think about the consequences. You think about, well, if I do this, they'll feel really good. And if I don't do it, I don't really have anything to do anyway. So I might as well do it. So then you go, okay, yeah, I'll do this. And then you do it gladly. That's totally different than if you just say, oh, I have to. And you go like, just do it half heartedly. And that will weaken you. But if you make the decision firmly and you make the decision while knowing that it's your own decision, then it will strengthen you. And so basically, if you can't stand behind a decision with your whole heart, you can't stand firmly behind your decisions, then don't make that decision. Make the decisions that you can stand behind. And I'm looking at my notes here. Again, never make a decision or do things because you feel like you have to. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to eat ever. The consequences, though, is what you need to look out for. So you don't have to do anything, but you do have to accept the consequences. So if you decide, I don't want to eat ever again, the consequence is that you'll die within probably 2 weeks or something. But if you're willing to accept that consequence, then you don't have to eat, which a lot of people would say, no, you have to eat. You have to eat in order to live. I recommend you do eat, but when you feel like you have to do things, it's just not true. You don't have to do anything in this world. You don't have to wear clothes out in public, but you probably will get arrested. And that's the consequences. You don't have to wake up in the morning and go to work. But if you don't, you might run out of money and get evicted and be living on the street or something. But see, when you make decisions, you want to be happy about them. So if you're making the decision of going to work in the morning and you say, "Oh, I'm going just because I have to," then that's a weak decision. But if you realize, oh, I don't have to, but I like this better than the alternative of sleeping in, running out of money, getting evicted, living in the street. I'd rather go to work, be happy about it, and earn money and have a place to live and have stuff to eat. And you have to accept and own that decision when you make it, just with anything else. If you guys have any questions or comments about this, please put them down below. I kind of just put this video real quick based on some notes that I had. So if you guys have any questions or want clarification, please just throw those questions down in the comments. I'm going to read them personally and I'll get back to you. Thanks a lot.